All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a series that became a true legend, not just because of how it played, but because of what it demanded from anyone who dared to pick up the controller.
It's a pretty fundamental question, right? Why do we do it? Why do we throw ourselves at something that seems designed to break us? It's that drive to overcome an obstacle, just to say, I did it, to spend hours, days, sometimes years, mastering something.
Well, for a long, long time, one name has pretty much been the answer to that question. A name that just screams brutal difficulty and the incredible satisfaction you get when you finally win. We are talking, of course, about Ninja Gaiden.
So let's start with the absolute core of its identity, the one thing that everyone knows about this series, even if they've never actually played it.
Look, this is so much more than just a hard game. It's like a benchmark for skill. A gauntlet thrown down by its creators, basically looking you in the eye and asking, so you think you're good enough? And for millions of us, the answer was always a very loud, and yes, sometimes very frustrated, I'm gonna try.
But that famous difficulty, it didn't just happen by accident. No way. To really get why Ninja Gaiden is what it is, you have to understand the man who completely reinvented it for the modern age.
Tamanobu Itagaki. This guy was a total rockstar developer. I mean, the signature sunglasses, the leather jackets, he was a character. And he built the 2004 Ninja Gaiden reboot in his own image. It was stylish, it was demanding, and it was completely, utterly uncompromising.
And this quote, it just nails his whole philosophy. He took this idea of a constant, tough, but ultimately winnable battle, and he poured it straight into the game's code. He created a challenge that would actually inspire a whole new kind of fight, one that spilled right out of the game and into the real world.
Because see, the game's brutal difficulty didn't just make people quit. For a small, incredibly dedicated group of players, it became an absolute obsession. It kicked off this global competition to see who could beat it the fastest, a war that would rage for more than 15 years.
And for years, it was this continental showdown. You had Japanese players like Hodorobi and Oshahan setting these times that just seemed mythical, impossible. And then you had the Western runners, competing hard, but they were always chasing, always minutes behind, trying to catch these ghosts on the leaderboard.
And get this, the dominance by one player, Ohan, was just unreal. When the Western scene finally celebrated breaking the 12-minute mark in 2013, they found out Ohan had already done it years before. He then dropped an 11:48 time that stood for 35 months. That is an eternity in speedrunning. It wasn't just a record, it was a monument. Everyone thought it was perfect, totally unbeatable.
But monuments are built to be challenged, right? So, enter Arcus, a runner from the West who basically decided that unbeatable was just a word. He dedicated himself to one mission, chasing down the ghost of Oran's perfect run. 34,399. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many times Arcus attempted the run before he finally got the world record with a perfect ending. That's not just practice. That is a level of persistence that is honestly hard to even comprehend. And he did it. A new world record. After 7 long years of Japanese players holding the crown, it was won. This whole saga, it wasn't just about playing a game fast. It was this incredible story of human dedication, this quest to do something everyone thought was completely impossible.
Okay, so let's shift gears from the community to the franchise itself. Let's see how that core idea of challenge played out in the games, for better and sometimes for worse.
It's kind of funny. Even the most beloved game in the series is a source of intense debate. Fans will argue for hours about whether the original Ninja Gaiden Black is the true masterpiece or if the remake, Sigma, is better. It just goes to show you how passionate this community is about getting the recipe for that perfect challenge just right.
But oh boy, the series also stumbled, and it stumbled hard. With Ninja Gaiden 3, they tried to appeal to a wider audience, and in doing so, they basically threw out everything that made the series special. They watered down the challenge, they messed with the core combat, and they added this boring story that just got in the way. It was a total disaster that alienated their biggest fans.
But here's the crucial part. They listened. The developers actually listened to the backlash. They released an updated version called Razor's Edge, and it put all the good stuff back in. The insane difficulty, the weapons, the gore. It was a huge admission that yes, the identity of Ninja Gaiden is tied directly to that hardcore challenge the fans demand. So, after all of this, the triumphs, the failures, the mind-bending speedruns, what's the big takeaway? What is the ultimate legacy of Ninja Gaiden?
It's not really just one thing. It's this powerful combination, right? You have the creator's fierce, uncompromising vision. You have the community's unbelievable passion and dedication. And you have this powerful lesson that embracing a true challenge leads to greatness. It's proof that there's a real hunger out there for experiences that push us to our absolute limits.
And the whole story of Ninja Gaiden kind of leaves us with this one big, nagging thought. In our modern world, where so much entertainment is designed to be easy and accessible for everyone, are we maybe losing the art of the fight? Are we forgetting the profound satisfaction that only comes from conquering something that feels truly impossible?